What's up, guys? WhoNeedsMeta here, playing a little macro control. This is the first time I've ever actually played this deck. I'm kind of curious how I want to approach it. If I want to go Caliber here, or I think we go Doom Cal first, and then if we get a little bit more of a resilient thing, then we can get this out of here. Choose zones. Yeah, and we'll defissure and deprison. And I think this is kind of a setup, because even if we lose stuff to heavy, we still have Mirror Force to kind of back the play up here if we lose to a heavy. Although, I guess it makes sense that if we do lose to a heavy, then our Survivor is kind of dead here. So, it is interesting to see what the sequencing of these monsters is. I'm going to have to learn that on the fly here. See how this goes. I do not know what we are playing against at all. You can't. You can't discard. Yeah, because it's discard for cost and you can't pay cost. That's the ruling on that. If it was part of the effect, you could. But if you cannot pay cost, then you cannot activate. Okay, so... And anyways, I would negate it anyways. Doom Cow would just kill it. So we do have the ability to protect our guy. So he can summon this guy and then attack, and we will be down a little bit, but I think we are going to protect our guy here. So this is actually a difficult matchup for us. Dinah's not going to be very good, I don't believe. But we will struggle with his beat sticks because they are all bigger with Necro Valley. So this is where some of the back row stuff is going to have to come into play. This is actually really good. I want to make sure we don't lose to TT, though. Obviously, I can't summon Breaker under Doom Cal. So we're going to do this here. And if our guy dies, our guy dies. It is what it is. I am kind of curious, though, how we want to play it. So he's not going to heavy us now. So I think we do set the Mirror Force just to protect. And then I think we set Dinah. Because we have a bunch of normal summons in our hand, kind of clogging our hand. I do think it's safe to set Dinah. Because I don't think this card is going to be very good in this matchup. But if we do run into a Torrential, we could easily flip summon. Not that we'd be losing to the Torrential as well. I just don't feel like I'm going to get any value out of any of this. So I think we're just going to pass. Which kind of sucks. I do want to put another monster on board, and drawing this many monsters kind of does suck. But we'll see how this goes. Okay, so he does have another command. So we're down to a simplified game state, and we haven't forced the back row yet. Again, I think I am going to Mirror Force, because this deck doesn't put a ton of monsters on board. It's not like I have to worry about him swarming. So if I can keep going 1 for 1, 1 for 1, 1 for 1. We'll see if he has My Body. Okay, so no My Body. Book, he could obviously book, and he'd be 2,000, and then we couldn't get over it. So, again, we're just going to keep drawing our back row removal here, which is kind of nice. So we're going to go try and get 19 again. Okay. In there, set Prison, and just keep kind of the tempo going with Doom Cow. If we can keep the tempo going with Doom Cow, that's perfectly fine. I prefer that. I definitely prefer the more simplified game state, because, again, I'm not necessarily sure these 3 cards have anything to do with it. Okay, so this might be Spy. So if we summon Spy, we can negate, and then we could summon our Breaker. So we'll see what this is. And if it's Spy, we take 600. Okay. And then Banish. So we'll just banish it. Yep. And then I think we can get in there with our Breaker this turn. And that way we protect our Survivor potentially. I don't know. I think Survivor might be more correct. But his monsters, if I get over the Necro Valley, aren't as big. And he's used double Commandant already. So I think we can get our Breaker in there. See if this maybe baits a bottomless or something. Because everything but Judgment is really an issue with Survivor. So, like, if I have... Okay, so he's going to... Okay, well, he needed to do that beforehand, but that's fine. Okay. That's fine. Torrential and Summon is perfectly fine. We could have set Oppression, I guess. And not like we're going to lose the Heavy Storm. I probably should have just set the Oppression. Okay, so nothing there. We could set both now, though. So we're going to go with Survivor here. See if anything is a result of this here. I kind of don't want to set Oppression at all. I just feel like it's not good. But I guess it could be a bluff. And then it's not like I'm going to have any issues with having extra cards, I guess. Because you can clog your back row with macro and things like that. But I mostly think the things that are going to come in the matchup are going to be, I believe I said Dust Tornadoes. So he has used Torrential Tribute. So we can normal summon Fossil Dyna. The only problem is if I normal summon Fossil Dyna and I deprison, or if I attack into deprison with DD Survivor. So I think Gale might be more correct to trying to end the game, but we might not be able to end the game. So now because Torrential is gone, it might be better just to set Fossil Dyna just in case he does special summon. But then you can worry about him attacking and then the Dyna not being destroyed and being flip face up, and then you have Survivor issues. I think we're just going to try and get in directly with Oppression. Or with Survivor and not worry about it. Okay. But we do have Oppression if he does something like Battle Fader. But we're like so far set up. I'm just not really sure. We do have to worry about Roll of Tribute, I guess. That is something to keep in mind. I believe Roll of Tribute's in the format. So that is something that we do have to consider. Okay, so we can summon Banisher and go this route here. The only issue that we would have is if that is a spy and we wouldn't be able to stop the flip summon. So that might be an issue, but I don't believe he would be able to Descendant under this anyways. So let's try this anyways to see what we get. If we get spy, we take 7. Mirror Force. Okay, Mirror Force. Okay, so this will be banished. And this will be banished. And then in end phase, we'll get our Survivor back. And then we'll end the turn. So this is the issue I was saying with Oppression, where we could potentially have an issue. I'm not sure. So that means that probably isn't Spy. We've already gotten rid of the Mirror Force and Torrential. Those are both the trap cards we've seen. So we can safely summon this here and attempt to get in there again. So this is probably a bluff. Oh, so it's guard. Okay, so I would take... It's 24, so I take 6. And then he's going to bounce Survivor. So what we're going to do is clear the effect. And I think we'll just pass. I don't think we need to set widespread. And I kind of want to keep the space open in case I have a back row because I have Deep Prison and Torrential. So we'll see how that goes. I wasn't sure about Gale in this deck. I'm kind of... If you're wondering what the widespread ruin is, I'm playing it over Sakuretsu armor because for the interaction with Book of Moon, if your opponent has 2 monsters, if you like declare an attack with Sakuretsu armor, they Book of Moon, it doesn't die. Widespread will at least take the other monster, so it's still like a 2-for-1 there, where they have to -1 with the book to save the monster they want, and then you can still get something else off the board. I have seen listed just when you max out on Deep Prison. So this is at 950. Okay, so we're going to go with Survivor. We're going to attack. Okay, so he's going to Judgment. Okay, so I do not get it back. That is important to note. I don't get that card back. So he takes 300. There we go. That's 30. Try again. There we go. And then we'll get rid of it. If he books, it's kinda sucks. So it kind of sucks that we don't get Survivor, but now I guess we don't have to worry about you know, our oppression and having issues there. And not really sure how we want to play it. I think we've gotten rid of one spy. Heavy Storm. Okay. So he is heavying. I still have trap cards, which is kind of nice. So he's going to lose Skill Drain, which I have seen, and Starlight Road and Necro Valley. Okay. So he might have the third Commandant now. Oh, he just has another Necro Valley. Okay. So what we could do is summon Fossil Dyna, attack into what we think could be Spy. So we have two options. We can go summon Fossil Dyna, attack what we think is Spy, just set Fossil Dyna, and then blow up his board. Because if he flip summons it, then if he summons Descendant, we could just bottomless the Descendant. Because Descendant is completely dead in this if D-Fissure's on the board. At least that's what I believe. We have Warrior Lady as an option as well. I think the correct play is to normal summon Fossil Dyna, attack, take the 700, and then use Gale's effect. The only thing that would hurt is if it wasn't. I guess we'd be taking a little bit more than 7. And taking 12. But that is an option. So we could do that here. Attack. The other option was to Black Rose the board by summoning Warrior Lady. Okay, so he's going to scoop it up. So the issue we have here, Dyna isn't great. So I am going to swap those out. King Tiger isn't great. I think Cyber Dragon's probably better. And then the Dusts are going to be good. Dust Shoot's probably not. I don't think Royal Oppression's going to be good either. So we could do Magic. Oh, Nox. We can get the Nox in there too. He does play. I think we could swap the Dark Bribe out. I kind of want to swap the Dark Bribe out. It makes sense. So this is probably the correct, because like, yeah, you can Dark Bribe, but we have double Dust now, and we still have our Breaker. So we have Breaker, double Dust, Space, which isn't bad, I guess. It's interesting, but I do like the double knock. It's mostly for Raiko, but it's kind of funny that it happens in this particular instance. So I do like that. Yeah, nice Dyna. I believe I took them out. Cyber Dragon is just, it's good to get over Spy without Necro Valley, but if you have double space, again, the Magic Drain could have been something we put in, but we took the Bribe out, so. All right. I'll pause until we get a decision here for you guys. Oh, never mind. Look at that. Right on cue. Right on cue. I don't want to waste your time. All right, so this is the inverse of opening too many monsters. We are doing the 2-2 macro DeFi split. I've seen people just say, no, 3 D-Fissure is better. D-Fissure just because you can turn one. But it's like macro with like Dragon Turbo. You have a Magical Stone Excavation, and then you also have War Chariot, that Equest tag. So that's also something to keep in mind if you like can force them to War Chariot under macro. They don't get to Equest it back. So that is kind of nice. Alright, so he's setting everything. I wonder if we're going to see a turn 1 Royal Tribute. Oh, no turn 1 roll tribute. Okay. So, can't believe I have choose zones on. That's a rip. We hit spy. We hit spy. That's really good. We hit command it. Okay. Not as good. But I think we could just be set. We could set. Ugh. I don't want to set defissure. I kind of want to set. TT is probably better than bottomless at this point. Maybe, because TT would hit if he does draw spy, set spy. I don't want to set everything just because if one of them is, I mean, if he heavy, I mean, I guess if he heavy storms, it's either one of these set and he has one card. If I want one card in my hand to be an out if he does have it, so that would be torrential. So it makes the most sense to set the bottomless and hold the torrential, because if he does heavy and then he has a monster on board, if another monster hits the board, we can torrential after. Okay, so he's just gonna blind space. He's gonna hit macro, which is fine. But I mean, I doubt we were gonna see pro set heavy, but you never know. It's interesting to blind space when you're not sure if you're gonna draw a monster or not. Okay, so roll tribute. So, he's gonna see DeFi TT. No monsters. I'm not even going to change space to it. It's not worth it. You can see that I have TT and DeFi, but I'm going to shuffle so he doesn't see one of these. I am going to set widespread. It just makes sense to set widespread. Okay, it's race for a monster. Okay, so we do have Thunder King. We can blind space one of the two, and then... Alright, so we are going to try and hit one of them, and just, I know it seems kind of bad. Okay, so we hit a bad one, so we hit his Heavy Storm Insurance card, as opposed to his Heavy Storm card, or his actual defensive card. So we do have Thunder King. I think we're going to try and get in there then. He probably sighted out the drains. See what he does here. Okay, so he's going to take it. Okay. So he did see me set one. He probably thinks this is torrential, but I'm glad I didn't set torrential because now I don't have to commit too many cards to the board. I don't believe I play Heavy Storm in my Gravekeeper list for this format. Okay, so roll a tribute again. He's going to see that it's the same two cards. And it's the same two, which is fine. So he knows this is something different. So he has another Necro Valley. So we have Starlight, so we're going to shuffle our hand again. We're going to get in there. So the reason we're holding this defissure is because we can technically negate with Thunder King under there. But I don't know if we would. I don't know if it's worth committing defissure to the board here. I don't know if because he can't add Necro Valley with whatever anyway, so it's not like that's the only search card that deck plays is the Commandant. Obviously, we're going to set this, and honestly, yeah, we don't need to commit any more cards to the board for fear of... I mean, we do have the out to Heavy Storm, but again, we don't want him to think that. If he top decks heavy, especially with a Necro Valley in hand, if he draws heavy, he will play it because he can replace his Necro Valley. So that's kind of like our, we're going to draw bait kind of thing. Although Solemn Judgment is really good. So that's another reason we don't want to commit defissure. We want to leave one spot open. We're just kind of T-King beat down here. So we are going to set the Judgment, which is fine. I am A-okay with that. I'd like to draw a monster to maybe speed this up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now we're going to activate defissure because we have this. And now we're going to summon Survivor. And then if he TTs, we have the ability to road. Or if he mirror forces, we have the ability to road. He's gonna book. Do we judgment that? Because if we judgment that, we win the game. Possibly. We're gonna judgment it. Oh, he's gonna bribe. Okay, so we'll get a card. So it's another bribe. And then we'll go in there for 18. So we have a bottomless and a widespread and a defissure, and one of his cards is another Necro Valley, so he's kind of clogged up. And then we're guaranteed to get our Survivor back. So, okay. So I think we flip summon T-King here. And then hopefully we don't run into a spy. And if it's a spy, we're going to take 600. Yeah, we're going to take 600. Yeah, he's going to get spy. He's used space. I don't know what you get here other than maybe another spy or descendant. You contribute one other. Okay, so you can do it under Macrocosmos. Card your opponent controls. Okay, so it's 1 for 1. Because he's at 2K. We could have set Mirror Force, but I think he's not going to attack with it. He's going to yeet this off first, and then we can widespread. So he's at 17. Curious as to what this is for here. We're going to activate widespread. And that gets rid of the descendant. And then this is an attack position. I'm not really sure unless this is just scoop phase. Yeah, so that'll get banished. Book. Okay, so. Oh, he's going to book this. And then that'll die. Oh, it's banished. Then we'll draw. We'll draw Thunder King. Surprised he didn't book his own spy. Alright, that was fun. Alright, good stuff. Thanks for watching, guys.